Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you are all doing fine and you are staying safe. Round 119 is one day away, and I'm here to talk to you about some of the changes that we see in a day or two. So this round we are going to change a lot when it comes to gangs. As you already know, a couple of rounds ago I posted something on the forum called Gangs of the Future. We are starting to implement some of the changes that you guys saw in that post. Sadly, the changes are quite extensive. There are many, and we need to create new features. In order to have them done well and to have time to test them, we decided to go on parts. This round we are going to make changes to gangs, but mostly to trusts, number of players, and gangs in general, not adding as many features as we wanted. So, first of all, max gang members has been changed to 15, a little bit of an increase. Prices for the upgrades are now the same for all the upgrades, and when you will see changes that are going to come probably next round in 120, you are going to understand why. Same as they are all going to be the same as HQ. Basically, why? Day 20 or 30, everybody could make a gang full, and that is it was a little bit silly, and this is why the increase in price. A player can have 4 trusted gangs per round. Trusts are now limited. What does it mean? It means you can only have trust with 4 different gangs per round. Never at the same time, okay? So you cannot be a trusted member in 2 different gangs, and you will understand why. After you lose trust in a gang, you must wait 5 game days to get a new one in a new gang. That means you are either kicked or you leave the gang, or remove your trust is removed basically by the leader, or you and the leader decide you do not want to be trusted in that gang. Now, a lot of people are going to say, okay, but what if someone gives me trust and I do not want that trust? That is not an issue. Now, when you get a trust, you are going to be notified and let know that someone has given you a trust, and you will decide if you trust the person to join his gang, okay? And it's going to be all on you. It's a decision that you are going to make. Why is trust going to be important? Okay, first of all, because only trust members can donate to gangs, and this is going to affect a lot of people that use secondary accounts to to upgrade the gang. Only trust members will get gang bonuses. What does it mean? It means that I can enter a gang, but if I am not trust member, I will not get the bonus in money or bonus in training. And this is going to be important when we are going to implement part 2 of the changes, and we are going to talk about stats gains, battles, loot, and all the other things that we are trying to invent to make gangs a little bit more interesting. Now, a gang can give a max of 15 trust per round. It will be linked to the gang's ID and not the leader. So if you use a rabbit or a spy and give it trust to increase, you're going to lose 1 spot in your gang. Okay. Another thing that is going to be important, and I think I did not write it here, only trusted members gang points will be added at the end of the will be counted in respect. That I have to add that here because I did not do that. Now, Required gang robbery participation in order for gang points to count has been increased to 50%. Before it was 10%, meaning that if I want to move with my 10 million gang points to another gang, I can just go and do 300 tickets in bank or whatever, and my gang points will count and therefore help the specific gang. Or virtual gang robberies give 20% less cash. Virtual gang robberies are there to help new players specifically to make level. Virtual gangs are not there to help you win medals. And I do not care if we are talking a medal for Poland, Brazil, Portugal, or Zimbabwe. They are there just to help new players get past levels. Now, these are mostly the changes that we are going to implement this round for gangs. I hope you guys can give us some feedback at the end, especially regarding the number of trusts, the amount of money you have to pay for HQ, and so on. Another change, pimp. Talking Stone item gives now 25% bonus. It was 10% before, now it's going to be 25%. It is like that because, well, as pimp, you have to spend at least 600 billion to make full. I spent last round, I think, 550 billion to make full hookers, and of course I could buy more, but that was not okay. Meanwhile, a businessman needs to invest between 30 billion and I don't know, maybe 60 or even less. Districts. Stats lost when a street is attacked by a thug is now 2.5%. Before, when a boss would come and fight you and you lose, you would have lost 5%. That was a little bit too much. Reduce that. You can own only one street in Silicon Valley district, and this is basically a big change when it comes to top 10 and professions. I went with the idea to not make a lot of changes to professions because the district for investment was still too OP. Well, not too OP, but it's still very, very important. If we look at the top now, we have a robot in top 5. Some dealers are very, very close. So another nerf to the street makes more sense than starting to buff a lot other professions. Instead of making 10 maybe bad decisions, let's just make one bad decision, and maybe around 120 we can understand what other changes might be in order. Of course, when we balance, like always, I have to stress this. It depends who is playing the profession. It depends how much you're playing the profession. It depends if you have the best strategy for the profession. So when it's easy to say professions are unbalanced. Okay, yes, professions were unbalanced because of the districts, but it is very, very hard to find the perfect balance when you have so many factors that are influencing the balancing process. And like always, we only have like 5-6 days to check what we implemented on beta, and basically nobody plays the profession at full on beta, especially in summer. Reduce the increased power of bots when they return to retake the street. So when you first assault a bot or a boss, next time he comes to fight you, he will either have an increase of power between 25% and 50%, like you all know. Now I reduced this to 15 to 40%. It is basically because we saw a bot with 10 million assault power in the last days of the game. Now, I do not want to reduce this too much, in round 120, when gangs are going to be able to start their own fights with bots, and they will be able to make stats for the members, everybody in the game is going to have a lot of stats available if you have a good gang with a leader that is active. And in this case, I think we're going to have a lot of stats in the game. These are the changes for this round. I'm waiting for your feedback like always. Stay safe and see you in a couple of days.